So here we go then with the senior class for their fourth heat of the day, their third heat of the day I should say, because we've just seen two from the juniors. This is the third heat for seniors. It's A versus C, and again we've been mentioning how strong this grid is looking, and here's Chris to take us through it.
Absolutely. Look at this front row. In pole position, Leonard Hugenboom, the fastest of the seniors so far this weekend. Alongside him is Pierce Lehane. So championship leader Pierce Lehane is going to actually be on the front row, but he will be on the outside. Is that going to put him at a disadvantage? The one who's going to try and take advantage of the inner line is Alessandro Trombrelli, who starts in third. Alongside is Denis Mavlanov. On the third row is Christopher Dreyspring and Reiners van Kalmthout. On the fourth row, Maurizio van der Laan and Nicholas Pico. Karol Dabski and Sam Marsh on the fifth row. Tom Grice, Jonathan Aberdeen on the sixth row. On the seventh row, we've got Yakamati Paulin and Harry Webb trying to get to grips with the new team, new car. And is he going to be able to get himself up the grid? Martin Mortensen starts in 15th, another one that we'll expect to see trying to move his way up. But of course, he is in that dangerous middle of the pack that could cause all sorts of problems. Alongside him on that eighth row is Louis Ferdinand Simonauer. On the ninth row, Gary Donnelly and Maciek Kruprek. On the 10th row is Gabriel Delgado Barrios, the Peruvian driver. Quite a long way he's come to take part in this. Starts in 19th. Alongside him is Aglos Malandrinos, who got a penalty in that first race. On the 11th row is Jake Craig and the very rapidly recovering Richard Verschure after his exclusion yesterday in qualifying. So that it is. There we go. 22 karts that will be taking part in this very exciting, manic senior race. 11 laps now. Remember, the juniors was only 8, but these guys are going to have 11 to try and sort this one out. They've got them settled down. They go an awful lot slower by the look of it, Matt, when they've got themselves lined in the Noah's Ark 2x2. Already, even though they're only going around turn 9, they've got them going nice and steadily. Is that more a case of that they don't trust them and so they want them to go even slower?
I think it's just they like being bunched together. They like the closeness of this sort of racing, so that's how the seniors just back it down and keep themselves as close as possible.
They seemed to do that in the qualifying yesterday as well, didn't they?
Yeah.
They'd wait and then they'd all go out together.
Almost at a stop there for our pole man, Leonard Hugenboom. Now he picks up the pace. Just as everyone gets into the correct formation, it's almost like an airport with the marshals flagging them into the correct position. But that's now all gone through. The final chance just to make sure they're in the correct positions. The marshals now move off the circuit, and it's going to be paced nicely to the line here. The battle up front between Leonard Hugenboom on pole position and Pierce Lehane, who sits alongside. Very nicely they go through the grid hatchings between the two white lines. The race is about to get underway with the lights red now. We get underway very quickly indeed. A lot of pushing going on there. We had Denis Mavlanov making a great start by the looks of it. He's trying to hold it round the outside line. He's going to lose out 2-3 places as they're working towards turn 2. There may have been a bit of drama at turn 1 as well. Yep, a few recovering there. One of those going to be 209 by the looks of it, which is Tom Grice, and more off down at turn 2 as well. Try and pick out who they were in the process. One was 266, which is Sam Marsh. 273.
So that's Aglos Malandrinos. And 245 looks like that's got some damage to that car. He was involved. That's Gabriel Delgado Barrios from Peru. He was involved in that first corner, and there is definitely one of the carts, well, I was about to say is still off, but he has managed to get that going. So we will see the number of that one very shortly.
Yep, so they all get themselves off track. A lot of back battle going on down at turn 10 there as they try and shape themselves out into some sort of order. And is that one of our CRG men as well? Possibly. It's either going to be Harry Webb or someone else. Tom Grice, I think that is just recovering to the track in 209. So Tom Grice gets going again, but not for much longer. But leading the way out front, Pierce Lehane has got the great start that he wanted. He jumps ahead of our pole man, which is Leonard Hugenboom. Sitting in third place at the minute is kart 219, which is Reiners van Kalmthout, and then a little bit lower down there in fourth place, working his way towards the front now. Just a little bit off the top 3 at the minute is going to be Nicholas Pico with Christopher Dreyspring with inside the top 5.
Martin Mortensen was one that we were expecting to move up. He was clearly involved in something early on because he finds himself down in 19th position at the moment in kart 210. So he's got even more recovering that he's going to have to do at the moment. But out at the front, we've still got, by the looks of it, it is car number 206. Pierce Lehane has managed, as you say, to get ahead of Leonard Hugenboom, but don't expect that to be over by any stretch of the imagination. 219, Reiners van Kalmthout is right there in striking distance. And to be fair, fourth position, Nicholas Pico is only just a few car lengths further back. doesn't have to look backwards, because then we've got a big gap to this massive train of karts being headed at the moment by 217 Christopher Drayspring, and then pretty much everybody else just behind him.
Yeah, they're all in there, and any one of those could take a position, a slight lunge down towards the end of the back straight there to make a move. That could have been Richard Verschoor. It was on Harry Webb, so Richard moves up now inside the top 10, which is a great move for Richard to get himself now higher and higher. In fact, Harry Webb has jumped a position as well. It's Michael Christensen, by the looks of it, who is losing places hand over fist, which is not good at all for that man. So it's going to be drama galore for, in fact, it's Mathieu Schrupek, who is dropping down there from 9th place. He drops down to 12th, but the top 3 go through, still in the order of Piers Lehane and Leonard Hugenboom and Rinus van Kampthor, already charging down towards turn 2, and they all went and did their personal best lap times, with the man at the front, Piers Lehane, being the quickest of all of them. For 5th place, now being led by, I think the same, Christopher Drayspring. We've got Dennis Mavlinov in 6th, Maurizio van der Laan and Alessandro Trombelli into 8th place.
And you already called Harry Webb getting himself up into 9th, but look who's just behind it. Unbelievable, 227. Richard Verschoor, excluded from qualifying yesterday, started in 22nd. He is up in 10th position already. Now, he is only a quarter of a second behind Harry Webb, so he's still going to be looking to move himself further up. And we just had a side-by-side by a couple of the karts through turn number 10. We'll see if we've had any changes of position shortly. Here come the first 4 across the line. The 3... Piers Lehane, Leonard Hugenboom and Rinus van Kampthor, they've largely joined together. Nicholas Pico, I would go as far as say he's almost taken a bit of a watching brief at the moment. Something flicked up from one of the karts there, just up into the air, but no real drama, it didn't appear. Well, hopefully none of them are going to slow down. But Nicholas Pico in that 4th position. He almost is taking a watching brief to see if there's any tears in this front 3, and he's going to be there to be able to strike.
Yep, he's sitting in 4th place at the minute. The quickest that previous time round was Dennis Mavlinov in 5th place, 49.9, which is great stuff from him. Not quite as quick as the top 2, but still quicker than those 2 ahead. So watch out for Dennis Mavlinov in kart 236, who's just behind the top 4 at the minute. Still in 4th place, as Chris said, watching over the top 3 to see if anything happens. Is Nicholas Pico, but both of those are on their own at the minute. 4th and 5th places. Here comes the train for 6th, which is still being headed by Christopher Drayspring. In fact, that time it changes, because Maurizio van der Laan now jumps to the head of it, and Christopher drops down 2 places behind Alessandro Trombelli as well. Let's have a look at Harry Webb. He's still in the train in kart 201, and Richard Verschoor just rounds out your top 10 with Karol Dabski in there as well in 11th place. But this train goes on and on and on, heads its way down towards the right-hander at turn 6. We've got just under 6 laps now to go, but it's just spreading itself out slightly. There's a big move down the inside from Richard Verschoor. He gets the move done on Harry Webb. He was caught napping there, and also Harry's lost a place to Karol Dabski as well. So Harry Webb, not good news here.
No, that was the corner that was talked about. You could get someone tries to dive up the inside. There's nowhere for you to go. You're out on the slippier marbles, and you will be taken advantage of by more than one car's behind. First 3 go across, still largely line astern, although I'd say our leader, Piers Lehane, has actually managed to make a bit of a break. Will he maintain that? We'll have to wait and see. 4th position, Nicholas Pico, might not be quite so alone for much longer, because Dennis Mavlinov, that we've been reporting on him moving up through the grid, he has broken away from the others and is closing in on Nicholas Pico. Unsurprising when he's putting in times that are about 3/10 quicker than those carts ahead of him. So 5th position, Dennis Mavlinov, he's the man on the move at the moment.
Another man who's doing well out there in this race after starting on the final row of the grid is Jake Craig. He's got himself together now and finds himself up in 12th place. So he's really coming on strong as this weekend goes on. So watch out for the American. Meantime, up front,
yeah, Mavlinov is all over as we expected. Pico's got Mavlinov all over the back as he comes across the line. He's looking towards the inside into turn 1, and he's made that stick. I said that he was the man on the move, but I didn't expect him to do it that quick. And my goodness, he made a very clean, very assured and definite move up the inside into turn 1. He's made it stick. He's up into 4th position. So it's Nicholas Pico down to 5th. Mavlinov jumps himself up into 4th. Now, can he hone in on the back of Rinus van Kampthor and get himself onto, if you will, one of the podium positions?
We'll watch and see what times he can do, though. He was quicker than anyone, of course, over the last few laps. So Dennis Mavlinov was setting up that move very nicely on the back of Nicholas Pico, and now finds himself into 4th place after the move at turn number 1. So great job now. For 2nd place is quite interesting, because Leonard Hugenboom is feeling the pressure from Rinus van Kampthor as they come through. A gap that was 0.3 of a second He's now going to sit at exactly the same. So he's there on his tail. Third place man, Rinus van Kampthorpe. Of course, he's got nothing to worry about behind at the minute. Although if Denis Mavlenov continues going the way he is, he may have pressure coming from fourth place as well. But at the minute, we've only got just under 3 laps to go. So he's ticking away very, very quickly indeed in his third heat for the seniors here today on Saturday. And Piers Lehane is looking very good after starting on the outside of the front row. He leads continually after the start. He's got no pressure from Leonard Hugenboom, who's 0.8 of a second adrift.
Of course, Denis Mavlenov, that we've been saying is the man on the move, got himself up into that 4th position. He did actually start 4th, so he obviously lost out a fair bit on those early stages, and he's had to work hard to get himself back up there. And he clearly isn't done, because as he'll come past us, we'll watch him do it yet again, I'm sure. Head down behind the steering wheel, he does indeed. He's determined to try and close in on those top 3. But at the moment, Piers Lehane, he's dominating this race. He's broken that toe. I think Leonard Hugenboom has been in fabulous form. The Dutch driver was absolutely brilliant yesterday. He's probably kind of worked out he doesn't need to win. You don't win the championship here. You don't win the round here on this second heat on the second day. He's still finishing in a good position, and he's keeping it nice and clean. But Piers Lehane's not going to be able to rest either.
Denis Mavlenov, who sits there in 4th place, hasn't gone and done his quickest lap time that time round, but he was still quicker than the top 3 by a good 1/10 of a second. So Denis Mavlenov 49.7 compared to the 49.8 of the top 3 here. So watch out with now the last lap board about to be shown to Piers Lehane, to also Leonard Hugenboom and Rinus van Kampthorpe there in 3rd place. They've just spread themselves out slightly, but still do not count out Denis Mavlenov, who sits there in 4th place. Further back, still a great scrap that goes on from 8th backwards, still being led by Christopher Drayspring. He feels the pressure though from the likes of Karol Dabski, Harry Webb inside the top 10. Richard Verschoor has now dropped down to 11th, and we've got Gary Donnelly up into 12th place with Sam Marsh, Jonathan Aberdeen and Jacques-Marty Poulin all within that scrap as well on this last lap.
It really is backwards and forwards in the middle of the pack, isn't it? There's quite a few of them are sort of made up places, dropped back, and have battled hard just to kind of get to their starting position, to be honest with you. So it has been a frantic opening half to this race, where we're a lot further along than that, because they're coming through to take the checker flag, and it's a dominant performance by Piers Lehane. Comes across, takes the victory, a fabulous job. Second is Leonard Hugenboom, and Rinus van Kampthorpe rounds out the top 3.
Yep, great job then from Piers Lehane. We expected it to be a great scrap in that race, and it goes right towards the flag as well, with everyone outside the top 10 vying for that 10th position at the line. But I think Harry Webb just about scraped in. Had Richard Verschoor in there as well, but that was very, very close.
That was brilliant to watch. That just comes straight in front of us there as they cross the line. I mean, the electronic timing beam will have worked incredibly hard through that one.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a timekeeper in that race, because it was very close between all of those across the line. But Piers Lehane comes home for Strawberry Racing to make it a 1-2 with his teammate Leonard Hugenboom behind by 0.8 of a second. Rinus van Kampthorpe, Denis Mavlenov, Nicholas Pico and Maurizio van der Laan, your top 6. Harry Webb down there in 10th place. Richard Verschoor from the back again in 11th. We've got Sam Marsh, Jonathan Aberdeen and Jacques-Marty Poulin in 15th place, and then a few that struggle throughout that one. Tom Grice, the non-finisher, along with Agalos Melandros in 22nd place, both of those suffering on the first lap, and you can see Tom Grice on the pictures there just working the steering wheel, checking the kart over. But Tom Grice, another man disappointed with this race. He'll have to put his focus onto the final heat of the day for the seniors, which will come towards the afternoon. We've got one more senior on the way next here though at Laghi in Italy.